Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to the live. We are live. We are live. Hello. Let me know how you guys are doing. Let me know how your end of the week went. This is going to be another interesting week in the market. We had, as usual, an interesting tweet happen this weekend. So we got a nice reaction off of that. And the topic of the week is trading the opening range. So we are going to be discussing that mostly. We're going to see my perspective on that. We're going to see Samir's perspectives later on today. He's supposed to come in about an hour or so. We want to see how we can either trade the opening range or use the opening range to inform our trades. Now, this weekend, I started working on a new, I could call it indicator slash, uh, yeah, I'll call it an indicator for now. I'm going to work on a new strategy based on the opening range because I've done a lot of observations, which I'm going to share with you on the opening range. So we're going to be discussing how to use that in your trading. So either how do you trade the actual opening range, or how you can use that to trade later on during the day, how you can use that as a reference, etc., etc. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about how to trade when you're in a drawdown, which I am right now. As you may or may not know, I passed the 50K challenge. I got my funded account. And as it usually happens, sometimes once you get the funded account, you will go in a drawdown for multiple reasons. Sometimes it's overconfidence. Sometimes it's just that we're in a new market regime, which is kind of what happened in my case. And maybe a little bit of overconfidence either and wanting to perform for you guys live. So we're going to discuss all of that. Now, let me know in the chat if you're here. Let me know if you can hear me okay, if everything is good. And then we're going to get into these markets to trade. All right. And I'm going to do my preparation with you guys. I haven't done, I took a quick look a little bit yesterday, took a quick look this morning, amongst other things, to be able to get ready. I've decided to trade another asset this week, so I'm going to trade the ES instead of the Nasdaq, which I usually trade, just to keep my risk under control. So we're going to look at all of that, and then this Wednesday, as every Wednesday, we will have an interesting webinar with yours truly, our Discord mod Daniel. I'll mention during the broadcast what it's going to be. I'll wait for Samir to be there, so I'm going to keep you on edge a little bit on what it's going to be, but it's going to be another super interesting one. All right, guys. So, speaking of Daniel, here he is. How you doing? How you doing? We have Papa Moose. How you doing? How you doing? All right, we got our friend Ryan back in the house. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So we're going to see what we can get into. We're going to talk about the opening range, and we're going to talk about managing drawdowns, because full disclosure, I am in a drawdown on the funded account. So we'll see how to manage that. All right. All right, let's get into these markets. Let's first things first, we're going to go and do a little bit of analysis. I think we have some news today also around 10 PMI. Yeah. PMI services coming in at 10 a.m. Eastern. Like Jane said the other day, it's like this type of news doesn't really move the market. What moves it is the tweets we get from the US president. And we got a very interesting one during the weekend. So let's see what we can get into. Okay, so we're going to take a quick look at all the indexes. And since it's going to be the opening range, I'm not going to do the analysis the way I usually do it. We're going to trade only based off of the opening range. Show trades. All right, we don't need that. All right, let me show you guys what I was looking at this weekend and what made me decide that, hey, we can use the opening range to trade. So we're going to open NQ, and then I made this little indicator. We're going to go on the 5-minute. All right. So what this indicator does is, give me 1 second, is that it shows you, it marks the opening, the first 15-minute of the opening range, the way we usually do. So let's use maybe a 3-minute chart. All right. Let's zoom back. All right, this was the other day. On when was this? This was on April 2nd, the day after April Fools, where we had a really nice setup happen. Let me just make sure that, all right, we're running. Yes, all right. So the opening range was, the first 15 minutes. Some people consider the first 15, some people consider the first 30. I've decided to use the first 15 as a guide, and we'll use that. So the interesting thing that happened was, and we're going to observe it over multiple days, is that these three levels, so the low of the range, the high of the range, and the midpoint of the range, have been very interesting levels to use in terms of measuring your trades, where to enter and exit, and where to actually enter and exit. You can trade off of these levels. So for a regular simplest form opening range breakout, we saw that, for example, last week on April 2nd, if you jumped out, I mean, if you entered, sorry, on the break of the opening range, you could have taken your profit at the first measured move. So if this is a box, this is the same distance as the opening range. You could have exited here for your first take profit, and you would have gotten 1, 2, 3 possibilities, 3 measured moves of where to enter and exit your trade. So you basically, if we consider the distance between this bottom and this high to be here 1 standard deviation above, you could have gotten 1, 2, 3 standard deviations above worth of profit, risking the low of the range. But that's just one day, right? Now let's go and look at another day. Of course, it's when the setup works, not when it doesn't work. It's just interesting. I've been looking at these statistics, and it's been, I mean, not this statistic, this indicator, based on the opening range, and it's been interesting. So if you took the same setup there, you're basically not complicating it. You're just entering on the break, on that candle close, and you're putting your stop loss, which is a pretty wide stop, but you're putting your stop at the bottom of the range and then holding. Here, you would have gotten a 1-to-1, right? Now, let's keep going. So these are all long setups. Same case here. You entered on the break. You would have gotten your 1-to-1 here. And look at how, when we reached that level, which was 1 standard deviation above, we formed this double top, reversed to the low of the range, and reversed exactly at the bottom of the range, and went and tested that level again. And then in the afternoon, we're going to measure again the moves. So you would have gotten, this is one level, so we will consider that to be 1 standard deviation, 2, 3, and maybe even 4. So very interesting observation there, how we are somewhat cleanly reacting off of those levels and off of those, I dare call them standard deviations. So you break out of the range, you go and test 1x of the range, go back, test the bottom, and we continue over there. Now, let's keep going. Let's check another day. This would have not qualified as a long setup, but it would have definitely qualified as a short. And look at how we break down, we go, we retest, and we come really close to the 50% of this range. So this could have been used as a reference. Of course, it lines up with this pre-market support and Asia session top resistance. And then we could have gotten shorts off of that. I think I shorted this day, actually. This was what, the 30th? Yeah, that's the day I passed the funded account. I shorted way down there. But this was the day Powell was speaking. So it's pretty interesting, pretty interesting. Daniel's saying, I'm doing ES 100% from today for many reasons, since I trade DAX and gold, but I want to do the big one. of the index as well. Should I focus on SPY or ES for charting? What is your experience? Um, well, it depends on what you want. If you want, if you the numbers are important to you, so on the futures you get exact, the correct dollar amounts. If you're using, if these numbers, so where we're trading at is important to you, I would say use the ES, so use the futures. But if not, and then the other thing is, if the Asia session is important for you as well, use the ES. Now, if the Asia session is not important, and if the actual numbers, so the actual cost of the asset, the price of the asset is not important to you, you can use the SPY. I have used the SPY plenty of times. As a matter of fact, I've done plenty of back testing on SPY and Qs, because what was important to me was regular trading hours, so RTH, and not electronic trading hours. So the great thing about TradingView, I don't know if you guys know it or not, but you can switch from electronic trading hours here, ETH, to regular trading hours. So if you switch to regular, you're only going to see the price from 9:30 to 4 o'clock Eastern, right? So it all depends on what you prefer, Daniel. So again, if price and Asia session are important, use the ES. If that's not important to you, you can use the SPY. If the extended, you'll get the extended trading hours there, but that's your call right there. Good morning, Antoine. Antoine in the house. All right, good to go. Yeah, we've been talking about the opening range and how we're going to use that to inform our trades. And I've been showing my observations. I've been saying that I'm gonna trade the ES this week, mostly just to avoid the whippy price action and to keep my risk under control. So we're gonna look into that. So back to the opening range thing. You see how there, same thing, based on the indicator I made. Again, this indicator measures the opening range from 9:30 to 9:45, and then measures two standard deviations above it after. And it's been interesting to me how well we've been reacting off of those levels. So you see here how we broke out and then we came and retested that level by a tick and then reversed off of it. So definitely gonna see how we can utilize this today and see how it works. Let's keep going. When was it? We were looking at the short. I forgot where we were. Was it March? Yeah, we were looking at March 30th. That's March 26th. All right. We got to March. All right. So at the 27th, again, here we had the range. We broke below, retested above, retested that level. And then that mid range is kind of would have been a nice reference point. Again, this is not 100% accurate, but it's been interesting to me how you would be able to use these levels as references to enter and exit trades, right? So that's what we're going to try to do today. We're not going to trade exactly off of the open, but we're definitely going to use these levels to inform our trades. And then we'll have Samir coming in at around, I would say 10 o'clock. And Samir will let us know exactly how he treats the opening range. I know he uses traditional patterns and breakouts and find support and resistance levels. So we'll see. All right, we're going to start with the EAS today because that's what we're going to trade. So we're going to do a top-down analysis really quick on the ES. We're going to look at oil. The reaction has been somewhat muted, in my opinion. Actually, let's just start. Let's do the reverse. Let's start with oil. So last week we talked with Jane. Let's do an hourly chart. We talked with Jane and we said how this old 119 high there, this huge spike we had right after the war, could get retested. and how we could possibly go and reconquer those 120s and then higher 125s and go maybe all the way up to 150. Of course, it will take a while, but the average from a lot of analysts has been that we've been climbing about $3 a week. So if we measure, for example, last week from bottom to high, we actually climbed 15 points. So $3 is rather conservative. Now we oscillated a little bit there, but let's see how much the range was. The range was about 9.50, $10, so 10 points. Here, when we climb here, we climb about 9 points. So we're climbing at a rate that is higher than $3. So I think $3 is very conservative. I would say maybe so. This is $8. Here in this range, we had $13. So I would say a rate of maybe $5 to $10 a week is a little bit less conservative and more realistic. So we'll see how that plays out. But right now we're retesting those highs. The tweet, we had the reaction after the market opened. So the tweet was on Sunday, I think. Well, it wasn't a tweet; it was on Truth Social. And then we had somewhat of a pullback and a push up in equities, as you know, these two assets are inversely correlated. As oil moves down, equities move up, and vice versa, basically. So we are heading towards this pocket right here, this pocket of resistance around the 113, 114 area, and we'll see how we react to that. If we're able to break decisively above it, well, these highs, this wick is going to get conquered very fast. And I definitely think we're going to go test those 120s to 125s, and we'll see what happens there. And I think some some oil producers are going to be, pulling their hairs out, and us who, utilize fuel are going to see our prices continue to rise. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, all right. I got somebody in the house. Our friend Samir is in. Let me know when you're ready. Wait, I can't hear you. Can you hear me? All right, we're good. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, we got the man Samir in the house. How you doing? Oh, sorry.
Hear me?
Yes, I sometimes
Oh
watch
yeah.
the
Yeah.
preview and then think you're on the screen, but
Oh.
yeah, sorry about that.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you, chat, for being here with the Fivers Future. And okay,
Cheers.
you are doing something on CL, which I'm not aware about. Okay, it's
Yeah,
some crude oil.
yeah, just looking at, we had, as usual, we had a tweet from our dear US president giving an
Yeah.
ultimatum, and then we got somewhat of a reaction. So we're just running through all the assets, looking at them really quick, and then I was telling the chat that the topic of the week is going to be, trading the opening range, because I've made some interesting observations based off of the opening range, and I'll show you in a bit. And then is also trading in a drawdown, because I'm in a drawdown after getting that Fivers funded account. Right now, I've taken quite a few losses. So it's wait, you're muted again.
Oh yeah. So I was saying it
Yeah,
happens,
of
sometimes.
course.
I wanted to know, as it is a bank holiday, if I'm not wrong. So, what do you think the market is gonna behave normally? Forex
Uh,
side, I have noticed sometimes there is no difference, sometimes there is flat day, but I don't know about future side. Let me know what are your thoughts on this one.
well, I think the futures are going to react, because I'm expecting to see a reaction, because we had, I'm realizing that traditional news and holidays are not
Okay.
influencing the market as much as what Trump says. It's like he has this magic wand that every time he speaks, the markets react. So I'm definitely expecting, somewhat of a reaction off of the
Hmm.
markets. And we have a little bit of news today. We have PMI news, which I don't think is going to influence the markets a lot, but the markets were closed on Friday. So I think a lot of people are waiting for the US Open to see how everything moves. But I definitely think we're gonna get some reaction there. So we'll see what happens. I was saying that since I'm in a drawdown to keep the risk under
Hmm.
control, I'm either gonna trade. Well, I'm gonna trade the ES, but hey, you're here. We might trade the Dow. We don't know.
I was backtesting a
So
thing
we'll
on
see.
NQ actually, which is
Nice,
MNQ. So maybe today I will trade that live. I was back testing that thing because my strategy,
nice.
some trades was, getting beyond the day. So whatever the
Yeah.
outcome is gonna happen. So some trades I was holding throughout that day, basically for the next trading session, and some futures firm doesn't allow it. But
Mm-hmm.
with the fivers, guys, you can hold the trade, which is a blessing. So yeah, this was holding me back. So I was like, let me test something. So I was back testing NQ. Of course, the concept was some kind of liquidity concepts which I was using back in the day. So now I will be
Nice,
live testing that thing. Let's see how it is gonna go. So
nice,
yeah.
nice. Do you wanna run us through what it is, or is it top secret?
No, no, it is not top
All
secret.
right.
I
Well,
can
let
I
me
can
share your
show.
your screen, and you can let everybody know because
Yeah, it
we
is
love to
very.
see strategies.
Yeah, it is very simple strategy, guys. I have used this like in CFD also, but as I was facing a little bit of drawdown, so I started trading breakouts. But the strategy is very simple. Once we break the high or low, and then we need to wait for the shift of trend on the 1 minute time frame, and then we need price to close below the fair value gap, as this is bearish case. So basically I'm trading reversals. Of course there are some rules. For an example, I will not consider this first fair value gap. I want 2 3 liquidity moves, like this was a liquidity, and then I will consider this fair value gap. So this is some kind of basic concepts which I use when it comes to this liquidity strategy. Of course, there
Okay.
are some rules. I explain one rule right now, and which is I will not consider the fair value gap, which is the first fair value gap basically. And the second rule is the fair value gap needs to be above the liquidity zone. So, for an example, if fair value gap was below this, I will not consider that. So, these are two rules that I follow, and based on the nature of the price is also, then there is some kind of experience involved. Like for an example, this was a nice fair value gap, price close below this, and I can put my stop loss at least little bit above this high, because this was also some kind of significant area. So that's how I was using this strategy. And as I want to transition my basically to futures trading, so I am back testing a little bit this strategy here and there. So let's see how it is gonna treat me. Of course, guys, without risk management, any strategy is not gonna give you that good outcome. So I will pair it with the good risk management. So hopefully, so I
Nice, nice. Did you see me
get the
going
pair
like that
switch.
when you said I want to transition to futures? Did you see me raising
Yeah.
my hands up? So awesome, awesome, awesome. So just so I can kind of understand what you're saying there, you're
Mm-hmm.
waiting for liquidity to get
Yeah,
taken. So
exactly.
for example,
Mm-hmm.
here it's on the upside, and after it gets taken, you're waiting for maybe one or two pullbacks and a fair value gap
Mm-hmm.
to enter your short. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Okay. And then
Little
you're
bit of
putting
rules here and there, as I mentioned. That is it.
Yeah, of course. And then, of course, you're adding your experience and a little bit of
Yeah,
discretion here to decide whether
exactly.
you're going to enter or not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, nice. So this can work both on longs and on shorts. You just have to wait for liquidity to get taken
Mm-hmm.
to enter your trade. Awesome, awesome. So nice. We're gonna see how that goes today. But this is looking good. We're seeing that we have a few little comments there. Daniel saying CME is open, European index is not. Yeah, that's that bank holiday we're talking about. So here in the US, we're open, but not in the US. Ryan asking, can you hold overnight and weekends as well? You can hold overnight from Monday to Friday, but you have to close your trades by Friday uh, afternoon. If you don't, you'll lose the account. So weekends you cannot hold. Um, all right. Well, Daniel already answered. Not that I plan. All right. And then Daniel's saying if you like VWAP, add SMA9 to it as well. It'll help you stay off many fake trade. Basically, if price breaks down VWAP, make sure 9 SMA below VWAP. All right. We'll maybe add that. So we'll see. You can adjust depending on many platforms. Yeah, a lot of people use the 9 EMA or the 9 simple moving average. I've heard of the 5 and 20 a lot. So maybe we can add that as a layer on the opening range strategy we've been talking about. So I was showing everyone how I've been looking at the opening range. I'm working on a new strategy. So I found out you can you know Claude, right? You know the AI Claude.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You've heard of it. So it can read TradingView directly and live now. So you can integrate it where it can read the charts automatically and give you feedback and code at the same time. So since I've been wanting more and more to kind of automate some of my trading setups, this way, they can trade by themselves eventually. This
Hmm.
is great news for me, and I'm working on a strategy based on the opening range. So I want to practice it live. This way, I can make the algos do it eventually.
Okay, that is amazing. So you are testing this thing basically, right?
Well, we're gonna test it. We're gonna start forward testing it manually today,
Okay,
live.
that's
I was
amazing.
just showing how I always mark. So let me show you really quick. Let me get your screen. So here's the indicator. So for example, when was it? This was last week. You see these two blue lines there? That's
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
first 15 minutes of the opening range. And basic setup that a lot of people talk about is the
What
opening range breakout.
basically the opening range is, I think
The
the high or
high
low 15
the
minute candle,
high
right?
the high and low of the first 15-minute candle. Some people do
Okay.
30 minutes, some people do 15 and whatever. But there's something that is very interesting that I've been observing for a while, but it's really working well these days is that if you take that range, that opening range, right?
Okay.
And then the first observation, if you take the range and then you measure like one standard deviation, two standard deviations, three standard deviations above, price will kind of move, one, two, three multiples above or below. And what I've
Okay.
been seeing is that if it's really bullish, you will get at least one or two standard deviations above. If it's not very bullish, you will move one standard deviation and get kind of a reaction there. For example, recently we got a double top and then we completely reversed back. So these ranges are interesting to me. And I'm basically working on a strategy to trade based on that. So there's a lot of parameters. There's a little bit of my own discretion there, but I'm gonna be looking to test this live. I'm not gonna take the breakout, but more longs when we test the middle or maybe the bottom of the range, or maybe breakout, pull back, retest the high and move up. We'll try to do these kinds of setups. I want to see what works and then kind of build the algorithm off of that. And then Daniel is telling me to add a 9 simple moving average. So we'll do that right now. This is a
Okay.
200. We'll add a 9. We'll make it pink. And
You trade
we'll
that,
see how that
right?
works.
Opening range breakout, I think.
Not much. It's a
Okay,
tricky
okay.
setup. When
Okay.
it works, and it can work for a while. But I don't trade it like I just showed, where it just breaks. I mean, not very often. Where it just breaks the range, you
Okay, okay.
enter and then you wait. I don't
Hmm.
trade that very often. All right, we're open right now. So let's see how we react. Let me go on the ES. All right, we got buyers stepping in. So looking good here, guys. Buyers definitely stepping in with volume. So let me go back to the indicator. I just want to make sure that it's firing and triggering. It should start working in a bit. Well, maybe it's gonna wait for the close. I'm not a programmer, so uh all right, we got buyers stepping in. So this is definitely interesting. If you looked at this here, this would have been a nice, this is probably one standard deviation above VWAP. So this would have been a good long, risking this low here. But I've been avoiding taking setups right off the open. So we'll wait to see what happens there. Let me look at the comments really quick. Now that I plan to, okay, so I got Ryan talking about, yes, you were gonna say, what are you looking at right now? Are you waiting for
Um,
some liquidity to be taken?
I think today we may can continue bullish on NAS 100 because we have a lot of liquidity to the left hand side. Let me see it. Okay, yeah. If you look at the daily candle already took out the previous low,
Hmm.
and 4 hour is also bullish. Yes, I do think we can continue bullish today, but of course we need some kind of setup so that we can take some
Exactly.
entry.
We're not gonna blindly enter. We're gonna wait to see what makes sense.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
So speaking of trading in a drawdown, today we put out a video, saying what to do if you're in a drawdown. So a lot of times you get the funded account, you're overconfident, and then you start taking losses and losses and losses, and that can be due to many things. Maybe it's overconfidence, but maybe you're also in a new trading regime, which a lot of people don't think about, and that is why maybe the strategy you've been using is not working as well. For example, in my case, I'm in a drawdown because I took a while to recognize that, shorting a lot helped me pass this funded account challenge,
Okay, okay.
because we were from, I think I started on the 6th. From the 6th all the way to the 30th, we had been trending downwards. So shorts
Hmm.
were working pretty well. And I failed to recognize that starting on the 26th, we had kind of found a bottom and we were reversing sharply to the upside. So there I have to kind of readjust and reconsider and stop fighting the trend and reevaluate, keep my risk under control, trade a little bit smaller, put a little bit of wins back on my side so things could make sense again, and we continue to trade. What we don't want to do is try to make everything back in one day or in one week or
Hmm.
in one trade. We want to keep our discipline under control. I see you hyper focused, so
I was looking at NAS 100
it's
trade here.
fine. It's
Okay,
fine.
let me explain it to our viewers. So I am seeing this 1 hour fair value gap and this leg right here, which is higher high. To me, this is higher low, right? So this
Hmm.
thing, first thing first, higher high, higher low. This is the thing. Fair value gap. Second thing, third thing. If you go to the 15 minute, this low was already swept,
Indeed.
and we also tap this small fair value gap, as you can see on the 15-minute time frame. So looking good. 4 hour already bullish, as you can see, 1 2 3, lot of bullish candles. And this is the recent liquidity area which I am thinking of. And if you go to the 15-minute, this is also the high. I was using Fibonacci also back in the days. So, when price was tapping the 70% retracement area. So this area was my target I was using this on Forex.
Hmm.
So these are the concepts that I'm using. So I think price make and tap at least till here, which of course on this chart the numbers might be
A little
different
bit
from the
different.
future side. And this wick is also not filled. I have seen this type of areas do get tap in future if the area is not filled. So let's see if we can tap this area or not. So yeah, going to the 1 minute time frame, and I want some kind of rejection here so that I can take a trade. Okay, so we are rejecting from this area. If we print a nice bullish candle from this fair value gap, then I will get involved in this trade. Let's see how it is gonna go.
Let us definitely see how it is going to go. And I like that Samir is looking at it like this. And since we're talking about trading the opening range, I'm going to switch to my screen really quick and show you how much what Samir is doing aligns with what I'm doing, even though we're using slightly different ways to look at the market. But right now, we've had our first few minutes of the opening range. Unfortunately, my thing has not triggered the indicator, so I'll have to look into that. But if we look at this opening range, we tested the high of the range, we mark it there. Now we're testing the low of the range. We'll wait for the first 15 minutes, but say this was our range, well, we would be looking for we would be looking for a break and a retest of either the low of the range or the midpoint of the range to go short, which would coincide with our VWAP there. So we'll see what happens. I'll give it a little bit of time, but I think what Samir is looking for is somewhat similar to what I am looking for. Now, we have to keep in mind that we are also bullish, so going short might mean short-term holds, because we might be retesting the previous day's levels, and we might find these levels as support and completely reverse up. So we'll keep an open mind and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we can even take the whole liquidity move on the, I think on the 2 hour we have a fair value gap below this area.
Mhm.
So I do think we make and tap here also. So my bias is bullish only. So now if we get confirmations from here, that is good. If it didn't, then I think I'll like to take long somewhere around here. Right now we are seeing some inverse fair value gap right here, taking out this high, and we are inversing this area. So I do think we can even go lower to this area, which is another fair value gap on 2 hour time frame. And right
Yep.
now if I build this story, we can see like price liquidity this area. So now maybe price can go lower, but for that, of course, if you want to short, you need some confirmations. And what can be the confirmation? Okay, let's counter confirmations. Let me delete everything first. Okay, this is the first confirmation. Price closed below the fair value gap. Going to the 3 minute time frame, I think if we can break below this low, that will be good. I might can take short also below this low, targeting that area, which is this area, because the narrative is making sense. Price took out this high, 15 minute took out this high, tap this fair value gap. Going to the 3 minute, price some kind of inversion on the 3 minute time frame, but we need to break this low so that I can confirm that yes, there is momentum, and my trade can be something like this. Yes, trade makes sense, so I will put my sell stop somewhere around here. Yes. Okay.
Alrighty.
Let's take a look at 5 minute. Yes. 3 minute. 1 minute. Okay. I'll place a sell stop here. Let me take a look at my terminal.
No problem, no problem, no problem. Maybe just look at these comments while we wait.
Yes.
And
Let's see what chat is saying.
mine's saying fairly new. Okay.
If you
Daniel
have
saying
time
if
later, yeah, I was reading the same. Check
yeah.
VWAP plus 9 minute SM, ES SPX, 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, won't matter. Last trade, price breakout, SMA lag, and then it breaks. We can buy center middle VWAP. This is the I. This is not making Sense to me.
Okay, I'm understanding it. So
Stop
I'm
me
gonna
actually.
kind of, I'm gonna. Daniel is our mod. He's been trading for 15 years. Very, very
Oh wow, that's amazing.
great trader. He's a coder as well. So he knows all about those statistics and all those indicators and everything. He's given us the pleasure of giving us a few crazy indicators there, combining the DXY to be able to take trades on gold.
Okay.
He gives out a lot of gold in his comments. So basically what he's saying is
Mhm.
check VWAP plus 9 simple moving. So he's talking about simple moving average, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken,
Okay.
on
Okay.
ES
Hmm.
or SPY on whatever time frame, last trade, price break, and then we can buy center middle VWAP. So he's I'll try to interpret what you're saying, Daniel, the best way I can. So right now I'm on the ES, so the S&P 500. The pink line is, whoa, sorry, my screen is not there, so I'm going to put my screen really quick.
Okay.
What? All right, my screen is there now. Yeah, so the pink line is the 9
I
simple
think.
moving average. The orange one is the VWAP. So he's saying that last trade price break, SMA lag, then it break. We can buy center, middle, VWAP. So basically, if I'm not mistaken, he is saying that if we get a break, so let's say we're taking a long, if we get a break and then a pullback at the center between the 9 simple moving average and VWAP, so let's say VWAP would get to here and the 9 SMA would get to here, we can buy around this area for a continuation long. Let me know if that's what you're saying, Daniel. Same way to the downside, so I'll put this in red. If we get a break like that, and then the SMA and 90 MA are kind of curving to the downside, we could get a pullback and then short here for a continuation down. So it would work on either side. So we'll see what happens. We'll decide what to do there. But price kind of moving sideways inside of the opening range. So we are waiting for the price to tell us what it wants to do so we can do what we're going to do. We can take our trades. uh, Daniel saying the break was April 5th. Better zoom or change time frames. Okay, let's see April 5th. April 5th. Let me turn on this. Um, April 5th. That's April 2nd. I guess you're talking about somewhere here. So we got a break, a pullback, and then a continuation. So that was during the Asian session, if I'm not mistaken. But yep, we're there. Let us see. Let us watch today. We'll continue to watch and see what happens. For now, we're still trading within our range, so we will wait and see. We're just gonna take a quick look at gold. So we're gonna zoom out and look at gold on a higher time frame. So we remember we had the huge up move, the pullback. Let me turn off some of these levels. The huge up move, the pullback, a move to the upside that retested this level. Then we had the war breakout, a consolidation, and then we completely sold off. And we saw buyers step in there. So I've been saying for a while that I think gold is becoming safe haven slowly again, even though I think a lot of these profits taken there are profits that are possibly going to be redeployed into equities. So we might see Equities bounce and gold kind of lag behind. We'll see what happens there. But on a smaller time frame on the daily, let us see what we can find as a setup. So right now, all right, nice. My indicator is triggering. We have our opening range. We are pulling back. We are exactly in the middle of what Daniel has been talking about, in between the simple moving average, the 9, and the VWAP. So this could be a possible continuation long. This trade on gold looks interesting to me, honestly. More interesting than the indexes. So I think that's going to be my trade today. We're going to do
Let's take a look
gold.
at gold. Okay, gold is looking. Are you planning for buys on gold, right?
Yeah, I'm planning a buy on gold. So I just bought. Oh, shoot. I got filled twice. All right, I'm going to take one trade instead of two because I got filled two contracts. So we'll see. So basically, the the theory behind the strategy is we haven't gotten the breakout, but we're doing what Daniel suggested here. We tested the high, we didn't test the low. We are above, we pull back to the 50% of the range, so we're buying that 50%, risking the previous lows. Very simple strategy. We'll see if we can get strength and continuation. If we do, great. If we don't, well, that is our trade for the day. Now I'm giving it room. I'm risking a little bit lower there. So we'll see what happens. You were about to say something, Samir?
I am looking at gold, but let's see. I am also planning buys on gold, but I do think we may can get liquidity to the lower side, and then I can plan for my entries. Of course, we
Yeah.
can break out right from here also. So let's see what gold is gonna do. Structure wise, it is looking good for buys. So yes, I agree with you on
We'll
buy
see. I
side.
might be too early. Gold has a tendency of stopping you out and then reversing.
Yeah,
So we'll see. We'll see if
let's
we
see.
get continuation there. If we don't, well, we don't. We're risking the lows. So the idea is, well, we're actually under VWAP, so probably a little bit too early there. So volume, yep. Yeah, I think I got in too early. So if that one doesn't work, we'll take the loss and move on. But we will see. Let's see what the indexes are doing.
US 30, NAS. I do like the idea of buys on NAS, but I didn't get the entry. I missed the entry actually, so I don't want to enter too late here.
Yeah, last week I was way too patient on the entering the indexes, and never got the correct entry. And so I didn't want to
Okay.
wait too much for that gold one. But yep, it looks like it was the wrong one. So we're gonna get stopped out on gold, no problem. Gold needs to be doing a slightly deeper pullback before we can enter. Let me look at the Dow.
US 30 is ranging very
Yeah,
much.
yeah, everything is ranging right now.
Gold 2 hour, 4 hour, 30 minute,
Gold's not looking great for longs.
4 hour.
I got induced into the long, but it was kind of a take on liquidity. We'll see, but I might be wrong. We'll see. Look at those
I'm seeing
comments.
if I just look at structure wise, gold closed above. Maybe this candle is pulling back. This low is respecting 2 hour. Okay, we close back and then we trying to go lower. 1 hour time frame, going to the 1 hour time frame. Okay, we wicked crazy. 30 minute. Okay, we have some kind of rejections from this area. 15 minute. Yes, we need to go above this so that we can
Yeah,
at
so that
least grab
candle
these areas.
before it kind of induced me. I thought we were about to break, and I didn't want to get in too late, but it might have been just a liquidity grab, and we might be reverting back down. So we'll
Nas
see.
trade is gone for me.
Let
So
me take a look at the
US 30,
Nasdaq.
I was planning for long at that inversion, but
Yeah, I'm seeing the
was not able
Nasdaq
to
break
enter here.
down.
So yeah, missed the trade here.
No problem. So yeah, Nas is looking interesting. So let me just share my screen since we're talking about opening ranges and my indicator has triggered. So right now, if you were taking a basic regular opening range breakout, this would be your entry.
Yeah,
Let me put the indicator. So a basic trade, this would be your entry right after that 1 minute close there. Your stop would go, below the low of the range, and then you would be targeting the first standard deviation above the range to take your first profit. And that distance is similar to that distance. So it's 1 to 1, right? And then the next one would be up there. But again, anything can happen. And
gold
that's
really
why I don't.
moved decent in the London session. We gotta move to the upside. So this session is tricky.
It's
And that
tricky.
opening range was really decent. You was showing that it is MNQ. Yes, we took out the high also, so now we can reject also. The
No,
previous.
definitely. Um, we are testing on the
Okay.
MNQ. We're testing that London high. We took liquidity, so it's looking like the setup you were talking about this morning. So we'll see what we get. Let
I
us
think if we close on
continue
the
to
15 minute,
watch.
I will get involved in the gold. Okay,
Let me
you are
look at
looking at
gold
them.
again. I was looking at MNQs. Yeah, let me look at gold again. Yeah,
If we,
so targets would be, that 4722 and or that 4741 since I have two contracts. We'll see if we can continue to hold there. This looked like a nice pullback for me. So just going to hold that one for now. And these were the possible scenarios I had talked about last week. Once we got to this level, we got the trend line. So I left the levels there in yellow, purple, and kind of red. I was saying we could have gotten a pullback and a continuation, a retest of this area. This was a more bullish scenario. Then I said we could have pulled back, maybe to this previous level, and that's what we got. We got scenario number 3. Scenario number 2, the red one, did not play out, which was kind of sideways consolidation, which happened a little bit lower there. So we got to pull back, we got to move up, and hopefully we get continuation to go retest those 4760 highs. So we'll see what we get there. 4 minutes until 10 o'clock. So we'll see
I'm
if we
also
get
waiting for a
continuation today.
close above on the gold. So let's see what gold is gonna do. Nas 100 missed the trade, so I'm not touching that. Gold is looking decent to me.
Let me switch to the
So yes.
screen. Yes, now we got your screen going.
So what I'm planning, I want the 15 minute to close above this area, and the narrative is very simple. 1 hour bullish, as you can see, rejecting. If I take this leg, so this is some kind of higher high, higher low. So we may can test this area, and this fair value gap is unfilled. So I do think we can even liquidate this area. So 15-minute close above can be a solid entry pattern for me. 4 minutes left, so let's see how gold is gonna react from this area. And sell
Let's
side,
see.
this order block is still intact, so I will not sell until here. So sells can be below this area, below this demand area. Going to the
All
US
right.
30 NAS 100. Okay, we are breaking this high. Okay, this is the this current session high right here, which is London session high right here. 4 hour, very bullish. Yeah, selling here will not be that much that good here. I will look at gold. So let's, okay, we are 3 minutes, 3 minutes left for the candle to close. So I do want to get involved in longs here. Let's see what we get. 3 minutes, we need to wait for the closure.
Yep. Let's wait for the closure and see what happens. Let's see if my early entry was a good one or if it was a risky one.
Yeah, we are rejecting from this fair value gap. So yes, you might be in a good profit right now. So I also want to get involved
Just
here.
1 R.
1 hour, it is decent. 1 hour is
Eh, 1 R
decent.
is decent, but it's 1 R. I'm aiming at least for 2 to 1. I
Yeah,
don't want to.
I think you will get your 2 to 1 here. Let me draw some arrows today. Oh, this is
Yes,
red.
yes. Hey,
I'll go for
put them
green.
green. There we go.
I will go for
You know
green.
the secret. You know the secret is in the arrows, Samir. As long as you
Yeah.
draw up arrows, down arrows in your chart, it's gonna work. Nice.
So now, guys, it is gonna shoot to the upside, as we
Explode
have
to the
as we have
upside.
green arrow.
Yes,
So
you know
let's
we
see.
have that rocket. That what is it called? Artemis. The NASA people launch another rocket that's gonna go to the moon.
I have to
So
do some
hopefully,
research on it.
yeah, we have. There's 4 astronauts. I think it was last week. They
Artemis,
sent. Yeah,
Artemis. If I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing
yeah.
it in
That's
the
it.
right way.
That's it. That's it. They
Yeah,
sent another rocket that's gonna go orbit the moon and come back. I thought they were gonna land on the moon, honestly, but they're just gonna go look
that's
at it and come back.
that's so fascinating. Like people going in space.
Mhm.
This is some kind of
It's crazy.
fascination.
It's crazy. I'm glad that there are people in the world that do these things.
Hmm.
People that do things that I would never do. I don't know if I would take a rocket and go. I mean, we would need thousands of people going and coming back before I
Yeah,
do that. I'm a risk taker, but there's risk and then there's risk. so
yeah, exactly.
so
Okay,
we'll
we
see.
we are 54 seconds away from the candle to close. So far, looking decent. Let's see if we can get a candle to close above this area, which can be a solid indication that we are getting the volume. So volume can continue to the upside. So let's see. I'll just place the entry when the candle is about to close in about 30 seconds. I will go for
About
one to
30
one,
seconds.
something like this.
Perfect. We're looking for the same thing. So let's talk here. Antoine saying we still have an opportunity on the ES, but that was 7 minutes ago. So I don't know if the opportunity is still there. I'm going to look at it. NAS still interesting. Price action is clear on the 5 minute. Manual saying gold has a small fair value gap on the 1 hour, 45.28. All right, we're going to look at that. And then Antoine saying take half off and break even. Not. It's too early. It's too early. Yes, I'm 1 R. I don't want to take half off and go break even, guys. We're gonna hold the trade. I'm gonna hold to target. I'm not gonna move my stops yet. The rule
Okay.
is we take the first payroll because I have 2 contracts. We take the payroll. We get paid. Then we move to break even. And then if we get the extra bonus, great. But we're not
I got the
gonna
entry
chicken out.
right here.
Nice,
Meanwhile, he was
nice.
talking. Little bit
Nice.
above than expected, but that is fine. Oh
It's
wow, I don't
fine.
know. Is there any news or something?
I don't think there's news. I think we're reacting, normally. Let me look. I'm gonna look real quick.
Candle is having
My
no wick.
So having a small wick, yes, indeed. We're looking good. My profit is a little bit above there at the
Hmm.
fourth. You know, so we'll see what we get. I just think it's because it's a 10 o'clock candle. We'll see what we
Yeah.
do. Let me check real quick if we have news. I have first squawk. Oh yeah, we have news. What am I talking about? We have the PMI news.
Oh, that is why.
Yes, that's why we do have news. I forgot about that. PMI news just came out. Sorry, yeah, ISM services. So came out as expected. 54. The forecast was 54. Previous was 56.1. Consensus was 55. So at best, this news is neutral. Usually neutral means bearish. So all right, we'll see what kind of reaction we can get. Let's just zoom out a little bit. Let me leave two screens open so we can get a view of the longer term price action. So that's the 15-minute, the 1 hour. Can we get the continuation? That wick is not nice. So we'll see. I might have to follow Antoine's advice and take half off. Let's give it a little bit more. Let's give it another 5-10 minutes. And see, we're getting that same wick action on the indexes. So quite a number of sells triggering right there. We'll see what happens. Let me look at the Nasdaq really quick. Yes, we did wick up. We captured liquidity. My trade is not looking as good as it was.
I just entered this trade on one account. I think that is good thing. Yes, I have
All
like
right.
3 4 accounts. So I took this trade on
Nice.
one account. Even if it is a stop loss for me, I think it is okay.
Perfect. Right now I'm only trading the the Fivers futures funded account. All right, I'm gonna exit the trade because it's not giving me the continuation that I want, and we'll look for another entry if we can, but it doesn't make sense for us to take a loss after the trade was working in our favor. So thank you for the advice, Antoine. Should have taken maybe that 1R, but I'm looking for 2 to 1. So we'll see. All right, let's go back to our opening range levels and see what they're looking at. Can we see any setups? So full disclosure, I got in. Let me put the executions. So got in there with the 2 contracts. We moved up nicely for maybe 14 points. We were 1R in profit, but I got out break even. Well, a little bit less, just $13 loss. It's fine because there was no follow through to the upside after the news. So we'll see what other setups we can find. Now let's look at this opening range setup again on the indexes. Let's look at the ES. So we have the opening range there. Take this out. And this is kind of the setup Samir was talking about. We broke out of the range. We took liquidity out of that previous high there, and now we're pushing down. So the question is, Are we going to get follow through to the downside, or will we revert to the upside? Now, a little caveat is we got some news. The news came out as expected. So usually when news comes out, this type of economic news, when it comes out as expected, what you get is either sideways action because the news is neutral, but usually as expected means bearish, right? If the news is better than expected, then it's bullish, in my opinion. And then if it comes out neutral or as expected, then it might as well be bearish news. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if we will continue to the upside, if this was a liquidity grab, and then we revert back up, or if on the contrary, we are going to push back below and go target last week's levels here or below. Let me just open my volume profile really quick. Yes, we did capture that value area low. We are touching the point of control right now, and we'll see what happens. So setups we are looking at. Philip saying giveaway. We did great discounts when we launched the futures a few months back in February. So no giveaways right now. Yeah. So this is the ES. We're waiting to see what kind of setups we're gonna get. Let me drop down to a lower time frame. I have the 9. Let me close the 9 for right now. So we're retesting the middle of the range right now. So we will see if we will get continuation lower or not. Things are, with this rejection that we got here, things are looking more bearish than bullish because we did not get follow through, but anything can happen. I still want to see a little bit more
I think I
structure
got
build.
disconnected, right?
Yeah, you're back. It lasted
Okay,
half a
I think
second, so
it was some internet connection issues.
oh, you're good. It lasted
Okay,
half a second,
let's.
so you're still there.
ES is looking. Yeah, there is some manipulation move right here on
Yeah,
PMI. So let's see what we can get here.
indeed. I'm gonna be patient on this one. Let me look at the Dow real quick. So we got similar reactions on all the indexes, including gold. So we got this quick move up in a wick. That wick kind of lines up with a liquidity grab with the London session. So was it a liquidity grab and then we were going to continue lower, or was it just a little sell off to scare off the bulls and then we're going to revert back to the upside? We'll see what happens there. Let me just look at the Russell really quick. So the Russell is the more bearish one of the three. And if we want to believe, so they, like Jane says, when many assets are doing the same thing, one of them is lying. So is the Russell, so the small cap telling the truth? So if we're looking strictly on a pattern basis right now, let me kind of find my arrow to draw. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I need to have a all right, there we go. So we touched the high. Let me put this in yellow so we can all see it. We touched the high there of the range. We pulled back to the low of the range. We touched it again. So this would be what is traditionally called a double top. We broke down below the range, and then now we're moving back up. So is this a break and retest where we're going to continue lower, or are we going to pull back to the middle of the range and then revert lower? If we do that, well, the short setups that Samir was talking about this morning would come into play. So we'll have to see what happens. So this is the time when, some of us have to be patient. We have to wait and see what setups make sense. But so far, at least on the Russell, things are looking more bearish than bullish. And we're getting an oil move push up right there. So we will see. We will see. rejection, ES, rejection, NQ. All right. Let me just check on here. Risk-wise, what would make sense? Can I take the ES trade? Yes, risk-wise, it does make sense. So I'll wait for the second. Let me put a limit order.
Okay.
And let's see.
What
Let's
is
see what
the point
happens.
value on NQ? Like MNQ, I think it is $2 per point, if I'm not
Yeah,
wrong.
MNQ is $2 per point. NQ is $20 per point.
Okay.
So NQ is like,
I cannot hear you now.
sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now it's perfect.
Okay. Yeah, I disconnected my microphone accidentally. Yeah, the NQ is the big contract, if I could call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's $20 per point. The ES is $5 on the MES, and then $50 on the smaller contract. So minis are bigger than micros, and then on the YM, I think it's $1 for the
I
micro.
think it is a 0.5.
It's half a dollar exactly. So yeah. If you want to control your risk, guys, you switch to the other contracts. So trying to find which asset to use for our setup. Let me go back. Let me look at the Russell again. Out of all of them, if we're basing our setups, because we're basing our setups on the opening range, the Russell is looking the cleanest in my opinion. And the Russell is giving me a bearish pattern here. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't want to influence your trading, Samir, by the way, so don't pay attention to anything I'm saying.
Oh, I was just seeing what I can do here. Gold is very tricky right now.
Gold is tricky,
So
man.
let's see.
Gold is tricky. That's why I bailed out when I
NAS is
didn't
looking
see
good
that
for longs
continuation.
actually because we just okay. We didn't closed above the fair value gap yet. I think if we can close above this fair value gap, that can be good move here.
All right, let's see.
The narrative is very simple. As you know, 1 hour was bullish, VWAP is to the upside, and I just noticed 200 EMA and VWAP is kind of the same. Of course, it is not same, but the distance it is having on the
Mm-hmm.
50-minute and lower time frame, it is basically the same. And I know many people use VWAP, so I am just using VWAP. So as you can see, fair value gap, liquidation, price got to the upside, again tapping the fair value gap, going to the 1 minute. Now we are closing above, so I'm taking the trade here. Stop loss can be below this area, and I'll just go for this high. So let's see
Perfect.
how it is gonna be. Yes, I'm
Let's
in this trade.
see.
By the way, I took a loss on gold. I bought here, took a full stop loss, one account. I mean, drawdown in one account. So, other accounts, I took this MNQ trade, this NAS 100. So, let's see how it is gonna be. So, narrative is very simple. This long I missed somewhere around here. I was calculating position size and all, so price just traveled here. So I didn't want it to sacrifice my risk to reward. Like, so I just took a trade now. Let me okay. So let's see how it is gonna be.
Let's see what happens. Let us know in the chat, guys. What are you trading? What are you doing? What are you looking at? I know Ryan is in the house. Ryan, did you take a trade yet? Are you being disciplined? Are you not over trading? Let us know. Antoine, did you take anything? Daniel, I don't know if you're trading. We got Manuel. Let me know you were looking at a fair value gap on the 4 hour, on the 1 hour on gold. So, Manuel Jr., let us know what you took. Daniel saying he's short on gold, but a swing. So any scalping up or down may work. Yes, we are scalping. So you said you're short, maybe short longer term. That is totally fine. We can be short a long, I mean longer term and long intraday. A lot of traders do that, so that's not a problem at all. And you can even be on opposite sides of the trade and both come out profitable. Was it 2 weeks ago? Both Samir and I took opposite side
Yes.
of a trade and we both came out profitable. I was profitable in the short term and he came out profitable in the longer term throughout the day. So everything is possible in trading, guys. You remember that?
Yes, I completely remember that. That was amazing.
Indeed.
So
That
yeah,
was
let's see
great.
how this trade is gonna go. Analysis wise, I think I am okay with it. So let's see now what the price is gonna do. We are bullish. So we also have these areas. Of course, there is bank holiday. So, but actually, some days there are volume. There is volume. So I think bank holiday, these type of days are also like normal trading days. Like in normal trading days, also you see some volume on some days. Some days are choppy, you know.
Yep, some days are a little bit choppy, and the setups take a lot more time to develop. Some days are trend days, and the setups happen so fast. Sometimes you miss them. So we'll see what happens. I was gonna look for any other news, so I use this Twitter account called First Squawk. What it does is every minute it tells you everything that's going on market related. So if you see a candle, you can check it right away, and it'll tell you what is going on. So that wick, we got it at 10 o'clock, which was how much time ago was that? That was 17 minutes ago. Let me see, 14 minutes ago. Yeah, that was exactly the news that came out. That's what I love about that account. I'm going to show you, I'm going to put it up on my screen and show you why I like following it. Give me 1 second. So that account, First Squawk, I like because 17 minutes ago we got this wick, and then if I look, okay, what happened 17 minutes ago? It says US ISM non-manufacturing PMI, blah blah blah. So that was the news, so I can match it to exactly the chart and what was happening 17 minutes ago on the chart, and I know, oh, okay, that's the trade, that's the news that moved the market. And then we continue to have news throughout the day. So a good thing you guys can use, a good account you guys can use, just to know real time what's going on, and it's free. It's on Twitter/X. I still call it Twitter. I don't know why they changed the name. The name was perfectly fine, but hey, I didn't buy Twitter, so
Yes, I also call it Twitter.
yeah, the name was perfectly fine to me.
Yeah, let's see. Okay,
All
you're looking
right,
at
all
NQ2.
right.
Okay.
I'm looking at NQ. I'm gonna
I
enter
think
on
NQ and
ES
ES is some
right
kind of.
now.
I
I'm
was saying
entering.
that ES and
Mhm.
NQ are some kind of. They are in.
Sorry.
They are having correlation, right?
Yes, they are perfectly correlated right now, and I'm entering my long. I'm actually going to enter with two contracts. And let me show you why I entered and why this was a very nice opening range setup. So, this is the opening range right now. Let me just fix the target. That would be, oh wow. Do we want this target? It's 66666. Anyways,
That's
all
a
right, we're
tricky
gonna
target.
do. Yeah, I'm good. I have 6667 already, so we'll keep that. Let me put it there, so it's 1R. Yeah, so I took this trade because it was an interesting setup for me. Let's just look at it on the 1 minute time frame. So this is our opening range, right? We are trading above VWAP. We broke out of the range with the news. We pulled back to VWAP, which was very interesting to me. We pulled back, and that aligns with since we're talking about fair value gaps, we have a nice 1 minute fair value gap there, right? And then buyers stepped back in, not with a lot of volume, but they did step back in, and we broke out of the range once again right here on the 1 minute, pulled back to the top of the range, and then buyers stepped up. So this is exactly where I bought. This is a very clean, good setup for me. And if we're going to continue higher, well, it's going to definitely make sense that we get maybe 1 or 2 standard deviations higher. If we're not going to continue higher, that's totally fine, because maybe, this was a liquidity grab and we're going to grab liquidity again and revert back to the downside. But if this doesn't work, I'm totally fine with it, because this was a clean, very, very good setup, and this is a perfect opening range setup. This is what we're talking about this week, is how do we use the opening range to kind of take our setups. So very, very clean in my opinion. Let me show you guys really quick again. We were inside the range, we formed the range, we marked it, we broke out of it, we pulled back, broke out again. So this is a break, this is a retest of the high, and we're moving higher. So my entry goes here, my stop goes, you can either risk below this low, below this low. You can decide whatever depending on your risk profile, and you're targeting a 1-to-1 and possibly maybe a 1.5-to-1, or if we're really strong, a 2-to-1 risk to reward here. So we'll see what happens. This is a very clean setup for me. The checks in our favor, at least in the short term, are we broke out, pulled back, we're above VWAP, and we'll see if we can continue. Ryan saying, I'm looking for a trade on NQ, paying special attention to the inflection point. My idea of 1-on-1, the 4-hour. My idea of 1 on the 4-hour. Okay. So you're trading based off of the 4-hour on Easter Monday. Okay. Let's see what NQ looks like. 4-hour. Ryan said a trade on NQ, paying special attention to the inflection point. What would you determine your inflection point to be, Ryan? I don't know which price you're looking at. Easter comment was in relation to your 666 target. 666 on Easter Monday. Got it. Ryan, if you don't know Samir, has been trading full time for the past 2 years, I think. He told us he used to trade with a traditional prop firm, and now he trades full time. So Hamza saying
Yes.
he bought gold at 70 after taking liquidity when Samir got out. Let's look at gold.
Yes, I'm seeing now it is moving to the upside.
Yes, we're getting that follow through on gold. My paper hands could not hold, so we're waiting. Oh, sorry, gold. This is gold. All right, we are continuing, so we'll see if we can get that. Gold looking good for longs. Whoa, your friend YM took off. The Dow.
Yes, YM was a nice play for today, but I'm
Nice
in
play,
NQ
nice
today,
play.
longs. So let's see what we get here.
Let's see what we get. Sometimes the ones that lag will give you better results later on during the day. So we'll see. The ES kind of hovering around those highs. So we will see what we can get. Gold, let's look at gold real quick. Gold having a nice follow through. Everything else moving slower. Let's see what Hamza said. He said he bought gold at 70 after taking liquidity. So 70, I would say, oh, 46.70. Nice. That is a nice entry, man. You got it near the bottom there. Let me put it on the 1 minute chart. So 70, 670. So right there on that push up, that's a very good entry. So right now, if you were scalping, that's oh, sorry, that's a YM. That's not gold. That's gold. Still, nice entry there. That's a good 12 points in your favor. So nice. Yeah, I just realized it was Dow. So Ryan, you said you joined the Discord but couldn't find my contact. Really? Are you sure you joined the correct Discord? Did you join the CFD Discord, so the Fivers Forex, or the Futures Discord? We have two. Yeah, sorry, Hamza, I caught myself. That's why I have those huge watermarks in the back. It's to make sure that I'm the wrong asset. When you're always bouncing around looking at multiple assets, you can get confused sometimes. I see Samir super quiet, looking at his trade, contemplating everything.
I'm just waiting for this to do something.
Yeah,
I
you
was
said you
logging
took your
in
trade on
also.
NAS, right?
Yeah, on MNQ. I'm
Nice.
longs in that, so I'm just waiting for that recent high we made. I want the price to take this out, so I'm just holding this trade. 3 minute. Yes, looking decent. We need to break this area so that we can continue bullish. 15 minute. Let's see how this 15 minute is gonna close in about 2 minutes. So yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. So, do you mostly trade the New York session, or do you trade other sessions
Yes.
as well?
The moment I shifted to New York session, I think my performance has been a little bit better, and
Nice.
I have received more payouts. So I think trading New York session was a game changer for me. So I just focus on New York session now, and so yes.
So we're gonna give the New York session a nickname. We're gonna call it the correct session. All right. You
Correct.
have other sessions. Sorry, you have the Asian session, the London session, and then you have the correct session to trade. So, but I'm
Correct
joking.
session. Yeah.
Whatever, whatever, whatever works for you. But I'm glad that you're looking at statistics and what makes sense for you. So good on you there. You said you will have to check this. You didn't know. No problem. My name is on the Discord. My name is Dave G. Ryan. So no problem. I see Antoine is quiet. Let us know what you're doing, Antoine. Phillips, I know you were asking for a giveaway, but what are you trading? Let us know. Manuel, I remember you were talking about a fair value gap on gold. Let us know what you're doing. We are here for you guys. Don't be shy. Ask questions. You have us here for another half hour. So anything you want to know, things you want us to do,
Okay, gold
questions
broke
you
out
might
here.
have, let us know.
Yeah, this was news candle. If I was aware about the news, I wouldn't have entered here. That was completely my mistake. I accept that. Now we
Yep.
broke this area, so I think we definitely can continue bullish. Going to the 1 hour. Okay, yes, we can tap this area.
Yep. I think we can definitely tap it. The Unfortunately, I had paper hands and did not hold that gold trade, but we'll see what we can do. ES is taking its time, so it's testing our patience, but we'll see what we can achieve there. I definitely think longer term, we're pushing back higher. If I can show, let me show something real quick. Let me load it up 1 second. By the way, I know you use TradingView. Do you use the desktop version or the browser version? I just
I'm
found out
using
there's a
the
desktop.
browser. I'm using the
Okay.
browser one. I do have the desktop one also, but from the day one I have used browser, so I think it is kind of a habit now.
Okay. I didn't even know there was a desktop version until I got into this whole coding thing. I found out, was it Sunday? And I really like the
Okay.
desktop version. It kind of gives you more tabs and more options. So I think it's good. Zooming out really quick on the longer time frame, we talked about the ES. So I remember a couple of weeks ago, or maybe was it last week, we talked about how the S&P 500 could tap into the middle of this range, and we see how beautifully it reacted to the middle of this range. So this is a daily chart. We'll put it on a weekly chart. Let me just zoom out completely. So on a weekly chart, you see how we lasted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks pushing down, and we are bouncing really nicely from the middle of this uptrending channel, which lines up with this past resistance level. So resistance becomes support, and buyers stepped in right there. Now we're seeing continuation there. So the question is, will we continue to push up and go retest this old support area and revert back down, or will we find strength, do a small pullback, and continue all the way to the upper end of this channel and finally conquer that $7,000 area, or will we pull back and retest the middle of the range to form some sideways action, or bearish case, oh, sorry guys, bearish case, will we break that range later on and go retest this this was the tariff low. Well, we retest this tariff low and go retest those 6,000s in the bottom of this range. If we measure from this midpoint, I mean, sorry, from this high point, a pullback all the way to here would be, 17 to 18%, which is healthy and totally normal for the market. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But the reaction we're getting here, at least this week, I expect to see follow through and bullish continuation, unless we get weird news from our or weird tweets from our friend, the President of the United States, that kind of has the magic wand on the market right now. Hamza saying loss is part of the game. Definitely part of the game. My goal in 2026 is to be a funded 100K with the Fiverr CFD. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, you can definitely do it. You have the man Samir here that has done that and more. So if you want to ask away,
Yes.
ask him any questions. He is the man to ask. Samir is funded multiple times. Um, six
I have
figure payout guy. So you can definitely talk to him.
so
You were saying?
Hamza, you wants to be funded 100K. Definitely you can go with Fivers, and I want you to set up some rules for yourself. It can be taking one or two trades in a day and following one session. Just set up some rules according to your strategy, according to your mindset, then just follow that. I think no one can stop you from being funded if you set rules for yourself, and if you completely follow those rules. And yeah.
Yep. I agree. Whether you guys know or not, Samir has a rule of usually taking one trade a day and taking it on not trading on Tuesdays based on the statistics, and that has been working out really well for him. Based on that, me being somebody who has dealt with overtrading, which has been much more under control lately, I decided, at least for the live and this account, to try and only take two trades a day, which is part of the reason I was able to get funded with not too many issues on this account. So that is perfectly fine. Now, one thing I'm going to add is you should find out whether you have an edge or not. Because you can be as disciplined as you want and respect your rules. If you don't have edge, it won't work out. Now, how do you know if whether you have edge or not? Well, it's simple. You follow the rules, and after a large number of trades, if you follow the same rules, take the same setups, and your results show that, hey, over time there is profitability, then you know you have edge. But if you're doing something different each time, then you won't know whether you have edge or not. Edge only means that you have a higher probability over time of generating profit than losses. That's it. It's not that you're not going to take losses, but like you said, losses are part of the game. So good on you, man. Good on you, and thanks for tuning in. Let's
I just closed it at break even. I'm not liking
the
the
price action.
behavior. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not giving us the follow through we want. We definitely wanted to kind of continue. So this is more and more looking like a short. Let's see. Let me just take a quick look at some other assets. Let me look at the Russell, because the Russell was giving us the sign to short. All right, so the Russell is the more bearish of the four indexes, and it's still giving us signs to short. It broke below the range, tested back up. The ES broke above the range. We took liquidity, tested the middle of the range, went back up, but right now we're kind of reverting. For the past 20 minutes, we've been hovering up there. So it might mean that we're going to get continuation to the downside, and maybe we have to pull back before we continue up. I will wait for another 1 or 2 5-minute candle closes. Well, maybe not. We're seeing some price action there. I'm going to wait a little bit to see if we can get... all right. So we're getting some moves there, which means news has come out. All right, I just reversed my position while I was thinking about it. Let's get our risk under control. Let's see. Did we have news come out? Let's see how gold reacted to that. Yeah, gold is selling off. Samir closed his trade right on time.
Yeah, I didn't even knew that there is news actually. I thought
Well,
there was PMI.
yep. I'm
Okay,
just
we
gonna
have
see.
another.
I'm gonna look at the what's it called, first squawk, and see is there. All right, there we go. Iran conveys reply to U.S. proposal on end of war to Pakistan. Not sure what that is again, but it seems like Iran has said something regarding the war. So these days, this is what's moving the markets. The this whole geopolitical thing. So things can start working and completely reverse on you on a dime.
I think it will be good for gold to close above so that we can go to the upside. This is a choppy range now. I don't want to touch gold. I don't trade gold,
Yeah.
but that breakout was looking clean, but I got stopped out. Now it is going up, so I can't really do anything. US, okay, NAS 100 or US 100 going to the 4 hour time frame. Seems like we took out this daily high going to the 30 minute. We may can go lower, but let's focus on US 30. Okay, 4 hour, we have some rejection areas here, and price is testing that area going to the 1 minute time frame. Okay, 15 minute, we are still bullish actually on the smaller time frame, so can't really short it from here. I think looking for longs only will make sense. 1 minute time frame, still nothing. So let's just wait for some time. US 100. Okay, gold. Yes, this closure above this area will be good. Going to the US 30. There was a good long opportunity here. I'm just seeing now. I missed that trade. Yeah, market open. We got a breakout, and then we traveled up. If I missed that trade, this was the trade right here. So yeah.
All right. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We're getting definitely a lot of sideways action today. We are not getting follow throughs as we would want. So I got stopped out. And at least for now, I am done trading on this particular account. We'll see. We will see what happens.
Yes, I'm also not seeing any opportunity now. Gold, nothing. Abrar, I know you. You are from CFD channel. Hey,
Yes,
uh,
we get a lot of
I think
viewers
you
from the
changed
CFD
your
side.
name. But hello, hello. How are you? Looking, yeah,
Gigamir.
there is.
It's got jokes.
Yeah, guys, I'm not really seeing anything today. There was
Yep.
opportunities, I'm not gonna lie, but I missed it. So I was focused on NAS 100 too much that I was unable to spot this US 30 buy here. And yeah, took a loss here in one account, US 100, got a break even, just couple of dollars in profits. So yes, I think I should stop trading now unless I see a good continuation on US 30, which right now I'm not seeing it. I can even short this if we break this area, and I can take some reversal trade or something like this. 4 hour. Yes, this is a decent area. Let's try it like this. One. Let's go to the daily once again and let's see if we do have any levels. Okay, we have this level. Yeah, this level is there. Okay, going to the 3 minute time frame. Nothing yet. 15 minute, nothing. Yeah, if you see this whole complete range here.
Yeah, we're definitely ranging. We're not getting any real follow through. Just
Yeah,
gonna go really quick back to my screen to show these opening ranges I've been talking about. Real quick. So this is the NQ. Remember we said we were gonna trade off of the opening range. Now the worst way or the worst day to trade off the opening range is when we have a range day because price will just hover in this area and not really do much. So right now we had the range form. We had a break of the range. We were looking for a continuation, either higher or lower. We did not get it. Samir talked about trying to look for. Let me put this on a lower time frame. Samir talked about trying to capture some liquidity moves. So we have those London highs over there. And Samir talked about, okay, if we could catch liquidity there, we could probably look for some shorts, but we had a sharp drop on that PMI news. Then we reverted back, kind of broke above this. This is when I entered my long trade on the ES, and we're going to take a look at the ES really quick to see why I entered the trade. But this is a good example of when that trade does not work. So let's reset. So this was the trade. We had same scenario, the opening range, break out of the range, retest of the lower end of the range above VWAP, right at that previous pocket. So that would have been a good long entry. We didn't catch that. We had the move up, the pullback. We entered here, and we expected a follow through to at least go retest this high or do a one standard deviation above here. We did not get that. We got that weird Iran news right now and went to back to the middle of the range here, which is this pocket here. So at this point, you know, anything is possible. We could go and retest those levels again, you know, go catch that liquidity for shorts to continue, or we can just slowly grind to the downside and grind to these lows. And if it's a range day, this is going to be bought again, and then we're going to go and grind back up. So these sideways consolidation days are not days I personally want to be trading in. I already took 2 losses, so the drawdowns continue. Now, if it's really bearish, then we'll continue to the downside and kind of grind all day lower. So we'll see what happens there. But so far, at least in my view, I don't see any clean setups that I can take on the indexes. I think gold is still grinding higher. We're going to take a look at it in a sec. But even gold did not follow through the way we expected. So on gold, we had, there we go, we had our pullback to the low of the range. This is where I entered my trade. I think I entered somewhere around here. We had our push higher. I held. And then after the open, since we didn't get the follow through here from the pullback and retest like I expected, I got stopped out, break even around here to the middle of the range. The stop on gold was tight because we know that gold has the habit of, you know, pulling back before it does what it's going to do, and it's showing exactly that. Out of all the indexes and other assets, gold is the one holding up those highs. So we're getting a retest of that opening range. Will we get some follow through like this, or will we grind lower before finding our way up, or will we continue retest and move down? We'll have to see what happens later. Finally, oil, even oil is not moving super nicely. Oil kind of grinding lower and trying to grind back up. So it's really an indecision day in my opinion right now.
I like NAS 100 shorting idea now,
Let's see Nas.
because now
Yep.
we have taken the liquidity move. I'm seeing some small trend line. Maybe you can draw it. Okay, we have my chart here going to the 3 minute. I'm seeing the small trend line which is broken. Structure is also broken now, so I do think we can continue bearish at least to this area. So that's it for today. I might can take this trade, okay, with a small risk here,
Yep.
because I don't wanna put too heavy risk, because I think I already missed the good opportunities today. So let's see if this trade plays out. That is good. If it doesn't, I'll be losing like $50 or something like that. So I'm okay with that.
All right. No problem at all. Let's see if that trade idea can pan out or not. I see we have a question there from Lemu Peter. I've successfully completed my evaluation for the 15K bootcamp account. I'm eager to start the funded phase, but I'm currently experiencing a short-term cash flow issue for the $50 activation fee. Okay, well, I
I think that is
guess
amazing. You just passed the bootcamp account. I
yep.
think that is the one who is consistent can pass the bootcamp account, because you have three phases. You need patience, you need good setups, you need to follow the trading plan. I think then only you can survive those three phases. So congratulations to you, and make sure you are sticking to the rules. And 50 activation fees, $50. So yes, we have some kind of condition. You have to fulfill that so that you can get the account. So yes, by the way, you did a good job, because in my eyes, passing the account, especially the three-phase account, is tough. So you did a good job.
Indeed. So we're gonna give you right now a big applause, big round of applause for passing not only one but two phases. Awesome, great work on that. That is confirming that you're doing the right things. Hopefully, you'll get that cash needed to pay that fee, and then you'll be off to the races. The great thing about it is, if you continue and do what you did to pass, you will get that $50 back in your payout and more. So good job on that. Do you which when you take your when you took your evaluation, Samir, which ones did you take on the CFD side? I know they have the boot camp, they have the two other ones. I'm not sure.
So from day one, I have been a two-step account guy, and with
Nice.
the fivers, it is high stake account. So from day one, I've been with high stake account. There was one day I we got in a competition, so for that reason we got the hyper growth account, which is one step or instant account, you wanna call it. So
Okay.
I think that was the only day where I have traded one step or instant account. Other than that, one step guy, and now I'm trying futures, so they are also one step. But to be
Yeah.
honest, I do like that two-step model, because we have a little bit more drawdown, and you can play with your trading plan here and there. You have more rooms for mistakes. So I
Yeah,
think
that's good.
that can be good for a trader. So for myself, high stake account any day. I love the rules, and they are easy to follow according to my trading strategy. So I trade that.
Awesome. Very good, very good.
Yeah.
I think
I think this
uh
this trade is also not decent. If we close above this trend line, I think I'll be losing like this. I'll be losing this trade. If we respect this trend line, that is good. So let's see what the price is gonna do. Let's make it red so that you can see. So we are in a drawdown here. Okay, trend line breakout, some kind of head and shoulders. Price liquidity, this area looking good. Let's see now.
let's see. Yeah, things are for now looking more bearish than bullish, but we're definitely continuing to see some sideways action on the indexes, and let me see, not on gold necessarily, but on oil a little bit. So we were wondering at the beginning of the trading day what we were going to get. Were we going to get huge moves, or was it going to be weird price action? So far, we have gotten weird price action. I don't know if the tone will change after later on during the day, but we'll see what happens later. But for now, it has been tricky without much follow up. We've gotten some, if you were not fast, you were not able to capture the profit. So I probably should have listened to Antoine and captured my 1R and stopped right there. But hey, it is what it is. So we'll see. We'll see. Now, if I were to look and zoom out, let me just zoom out and switch screens for a sec. If I were to zoom out, let me close this. Let's pull up the indexes. So let's put the end on the weekly chart and just try to put ourselves in the mind state of everyone who is trading right now. Um, we pulled back. We had a full week of green prints, and now we're opening on Monday after Easter weekend, after a holiday. So I think what is happening right now is we are kind of in price discovery mode, right? So we didn't have a quick follow through on the open. So the bullishness has kind of stagnated a bit. I think you have longs and shorts, sorry, fighting and trying to see, okay, that tweet that we had over the weekend, is it bullish, is it bearish, what is it
Mm.
announcing? And you have, bulls and bears fighting it off, and we're not agreeing that price should move higher, and we're not agreeing either that price should move lower. So that's why we're seeing this kind of sideways consolidation, which might just continue for a few hours or minutes and completely change in the rest of the day, or we might see it throughout the week where we kind of maybe get a week that looks like this week, where, we don't really move much. It's a week of price discovery throughout, today until Friday. Now, Friday on the indexes, we have CPI news. By the way, I'll be over on Trade the Pool to kind of talk about the CPI news. And we have, I think, FOMC talk on Thursday. So maybe these things will move the market a little bit. But we're gonna see sideways action until the market decides that, okay, we're gonna decisively move higher because whatever whatever tone the war takes is bullish, or we'll just continue, um, to grind sideways until we can agree. So I think that's what's happening here. A lot of indecision. Um, so we'll see if it continues for the rest of the day, or if we can find direction today and hold that up during the rest of the week. So we'll see. We are kind of forming sort of a wedge consolidation here, at
Mhm.
least on the NQ. So if this is my high, we kind of had, kind of a fake breakdown there. So this would be the new low. We have a wedge there. So will we find kind of continuation fast and be able to break out of that wedge and continue higher? Or will we be able to break out of that wedge and continue lower? Or will this just be one of those days where we can't find direction and move in a zigzag pattern like that? We'll see. We will see.
All right. That wedge pattern that I was having seems like there can be a false breakout. Let's see.
Let's see. Let's see. Let's see.
My
Indeed.
stop loss is somewhere around here. So if we respect this EMA, that is good. If we didn't, then I'm just calling this a session. Tomorrow, I'll be doing the same thing, trend lines here and there. Let's see. But I missed the good opportunity on US 30. That can be a lesson for today. And I also didn't check the news today. So
Yeah.
that that I did a wrong thing on my part. Other than that, the gold breakout was looking good. US 100 also breakout looking good. I will take these type of trades any day. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, we
Indeed.
we we
Indeed.
close above this area. So now I think I should close the trade.
It might be a
Okay,
fake
I'll
out as
just
well.
yeah, I'll just hold the trade to the stop loss, because I'm just risking very small. So
Yeah. It might be a fake out, just like what happened with me on gold. I got out when we got that sharp, I got out break even when we got that sharp rejection. But right now, if I was holding, I would still be in the trade and I would still be very much in profit. Yeah, so sometimes you ask yourself, should I get out before and take a smaller loss, or should I hold? And the market has a funny way of doing the exact opposite when you have those reactions. So you have to keep that mental strength. Um, Daniel answering here, he's saying that a past base camp is a past base camp, so you can activate when you have the funds. It does not expire. So that's great news there for you. We will wait until you have the proper funds to activate that funded account, so you're not going to lose it. So good news for you there, my friend. Good news for you there.
All right, it is 8:30 my time zone.
It is time.
So
Yes, it goes. If time flies when I'm with Samir, I didn't
time
even see it
flies,
was time.
yeah.
All
So
right.
today's trading session was really tricky. I again I will say I didn't check the news. That is the wrong thing that I did. That I should learn from today's trading session. So tomorrow, these type of mistakes can be avoided. So yeah, I will keep this thing in check. And guys, you also can learn from my mistake here. If I would have checked the news, I wouldn't be taking this loss on gold. So that is it from my side. Now it is very tricky, so I'm not going to be trading only this US NAS 100 trade that I'm in. If it is playing out in my favor, that is good. If it didn't, I'm just closing the day. Tomorrow I'll be starting the day fresh, and let's see what we get. And with that being said, guys, I will see you in the next stream. So yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Samir. And guys, I'll see you same hour tomorrow. Have a great rest of your trading day. Take care.
Take care, guys.
Thanks, Samir.